And Angela, if you can let everybody else in from now on, I'll get started. All right. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Fort Worth, you guys. Yay! All right. Let's get started. For those of you who are joining us for the first time today, let's talk about what exactly 1 Million Cups is. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's get into that. You guys can see that, huh? All right, perfect.
Yes.
So we are 1 Million Cups Fort Worth. We are caffeinating entrepreneurs nationwide every Wednesday. Here you have some of the organizing team, Mohammed Baneh, me, LeBeau Colbert, and Angela Burns. We're all marketers. So yippee, we're going to be talking about a lot of marketing ideas today. All right, so the 1 Million Cups comes from the Kauffman Foundation. It works with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, to take risks, and own their own success. And the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. And we work toward this mission through creating a consistent educational experience for each 1 Million Cups presenter nationwide, while also highlighting the uniqueness and value proposition in each local startup community. Now, here are some of the locations. Some of them are hybrid, some of them are all virtual still. And if you're outside of the country, 1 Million Cups is called Startup Huddle, if you didn't know. So some of the things to remember is that these are presentations, not pitches. Authentic connections are what we're looking for, not networking. It's run for the community and by the community, radically and intentionally inclusive. This meeting is held weekly on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. All over the country at the same time. We usually have 2 presenters with a 6-minute presentation and a 20-minute Q&A. Sometimes we have just one speaker and they just, educate us through the entire 45 minutes or so. But today we have 2 presenters, so we're happy to have that. And these businesses are 5 years or younger, and these owners are desiring to learn. So this is why they are here. And we like to finish each presentation with the question, what can we as a community do to help you? And this meeting is always free and open to the public and with free coffee. If you'd like to apply to present, you can go to 1millioncups.com/FW to present here or wherever you are. You could just go to 1millioncups.com and click present. Just keep in mind, this is not a sales pitch or an investor's pitch where sometimes we, get that a little bit confused. We will always want to clear that up in the beginning. Make sure that you mute yourselves and you silence your phones for those of you who are in person. Today, we're going to hear from Nora Crosthwaite, and she's going to be talking about Stagerie. And then we have Andrew Weiss. He's going to talk about Pod Fest. Some things that are coming up in the community is Darlisa Diltz's, the Center in North Texas, is going to be opening up, having a grand reopening in October. So we'll keep you up to date on that. You can follow us here on social media at these links. And let's get started. So Nora, you can take the floor. And when you start talking, that is when your 6 minutes begins.
So let me share. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stagerie. My name is Nora Crosthwaite, and I'm excited to tell you what we're doing. I don't know, how many of you have ever tried to sell a house? Yeah, it's hard. Stagerie is the one-stop shop for home staging nationwide. And home staging encompasses quite a few things. So let's talk a little bit about those. It can cost a lot of money. The costs vary widely. You can rent decor, rent furniture, purchase, painting, flooring, etc. Do a consultation, virtual staging where you're photoshopping a picture, and vacant staging. If the house is vacant, it can be up to 1% of the list price of the home. So out of our different staging services that are currently available prior to Stagerie, there's pros and cons. Most occupied homes start with a staging consult, and it can be a little daunting to hear everything that's wrong with your home. Accessory rental, if you're living in the home, just requires more time on your behalf. 2 in-person appointments. First requires the consultation. From a vacant home perspective, virtual staging is a cost-effective option. You take professional photos and send them into a company. The problem is you've got these gorgeous photos online, and then the buyer walks into the home and is kind of disappointed. So there's a disconnect. And if the home is vacant, you can rent furniture, but this does run into the thousands. But it has an impact. Staging a home can help a home sell 88% faster, up to 20% more. 82% of buyers' agents said staging makes it easier for a buyer to visualize. And here's the opportunity. Only 31% of listing realtors stage all listings. So if it's that awesome, why don't people stage? I've conducted hundreds of interviews. These are the 4 main reasons. They feel like they can't find a stager. They feel like it's for luxury homes only. They don't have time to deal with it. And my personal favorite, they used Google, and Google told them to declutter, and that should be fine. We are fixing occupied home staging today for homes in which you're living in it. We find the stagers. Our base level service, no matter the size of the house, is $180. Takes literally 5 minutes to start a project. And our reports are customized and detailed. We don't tell our clients declutter. We might say, move this couch from this wall over into your other bedroom, pack away these items, and you could use some art on the wall. Here's a cheap print from Target. You can click here to buy it if you like. So we really focus on quality over just getting in and out. Our MVP has been live. How it works for occupied staging, this is our base level service. You take cell phone pictures of your home, pre-marketing photos. This can be done by the seller or the realtor. Upload them on your phone, and then you receive your report. And it is a detailed item by item. Here's how we need to prepare your home for sale. Now, the market opportunity just for occupied staging is huge. There are 5 million homes, resale homes sold per year. 40% of those are occupied, and it's $180 per project. Now, out of those, 36% of those homes are staged each year. Our goals are very strong. We're starting with 10,000 homes staged per year within the next 2 years, and 100,000 homes staged per year within 5 years. And this is, again, just for occupied homes. So we launched about 15 months ago. We have received funding through the state of Iowa. We've been adding stagers. The business model is that the stagers are individual contractors, so they get paid per project they complete. We participated in the Iowa Startup Accelerator. Last quarter, we really focused on partnerships. We are the only staging company that is a RE/MAX approved supplier with 62,000 RE/MAX agents in the US. We are also announcing today our partnership with Box Brownie, which is a virtual staging company. And also today, we are going live with in-person integration as well. Sometimes people take a look at their house, they think they can do it, and then they go, wait a sec, I need help. So we're going to fill that need as well. Our goal is the only site anyone goes to is Stagerie nationwide. So who am I? I'm a sole founder. I have had a few lives, spent 17 years in software dev, various roles, got my degree from University of Texas in computer science, go Horns, and had a midlife crisis and became a realtor 6 years ago. I started Stagerie because I hate staging and I'm no good at it. So really, I wanted to fix my own problem. Now, I know this isn't supposed to be a pitch, but I am trying out my new pitch deck. What you can do as a community, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. If you know somebody who's moving, help spread the word. That's what we're working on is traction. This is the biggest item. Also looking for potential co-founders. I'm very picky. Technical would be good, even though I can code, I'm not doing the code. Sales and marketing. I'll take introductions within the real estate property tech industry, even small offices willing to partner with them. And I am somewhat looking for angel investment. Would love to keep in touch with everyone. My email address is below, nora@stagerie.com. Did I get my 6 minutes, LeBeau?
Wonderful. Yes, you did. You hit it almost exactly on the mark. Awesome job.
Okay.
And great job for your new pitch deck. Awesome. It obviously shows you put so much thought into it. Stagerie sounds like a great business. So everyone that has any questions or suggestions, go ahead and start putting those in the chat box. However, you can also raise your hand if you'd like to come off of mute and say something. And Angela will help me with that. Let's put 20 minutes on. And while we are doing that and waiting for everybody to give some good suggestions and ask some good questions, I'll kick it off. All right. So you talked about co-founders. Why co-founders instead of just contractors? Tell us more about that.
Great question. I actually have outsourced. Let's start on the tech side first. I've outsourced my development to a local women-owned business here in Des Moines, and they do a fantastic job. However, because I am one of many clients, I want to work with somebody who can tweak quickly. And I really would like to find someone who's ready to take this journey with me. My goal is to exit in 10 years. So I want to find someone who will have that same passion and have that same goal.
Gotcha. Totally understand. If you were looking for the ideal co-founder and you said that she or he has to have that passion and looking to exit, talk about who that person might be, because we have some very well-connected people. And if you can go into a little bit more detail on that ideal perfect co-founder, they may have someone in mind that they want to connect you with.
So first of all, I would like somebody who can really dig into the details and question my thoughts on how the software should work. I have something in my mind of how it should work. I want someone who's not afraid to speak up and tell me when I'm off the rails. I want someone who is in this for the long term. As a realtor, I know staging matters, and I really want to raise the tone of the realtor profession and also enable people who are selling on their own, because home sales are stressful and they stink. And I won't even move right now because I don't want to sell my house. So really, there has to be a passion for what we're doing. It sounds frivolous, but if we can make this step easier, we are adding value. I want someone who is also somewhat community-minded. I have a nonprofit in mind that I want to be able to donate 5% of profits. It is a community in Iowa that trains underserved youth in STEM. So they have to be on board with that. That matters to me. It doesn't have to be the only nonprofit we support. I want someone who is also really good about problem solving. And then finally, my tech stack is Ruby on Rails, PostgreSQL. We are hosted on Amazon Web Services. We're integrated with Stripe and Twilio and a few other things. So ideally, someone who's familiar with all of that.
That's a tall order. That's a tall.
That's why I don't have one yet.
Yeah. They have to be local to Iowa.
No.
Is that the case or no? Okay, no. Perfect.
But I would like somebody in the US because of time zone differences. I've managed projects offshore and the time zone matters. Could be open to somebody in South or Central America since the time zones are similar.
Okay, perfect. And Andrew Weiss put in the comments, Co-Founders Lab as a resource.
I will check that out. I did look at the startups, the Y Combinator Startup School Co-Founder Matching Program. That did not go well. The one person that responded mansplained my own business to me. So,
Oh.
and told me I need to look for legal loopholes. So I don't do legal loopholes.
Okay.
So I will check that out. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, awesome. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Angela?
Yes. So Nora, thank you so much for your presentation. I actually met Nora when I did the field trip, the sleepover in Iowa. And so, yeah, I asked her to go ahead and encourage her to submit an application to present to the 1 Million Cups Forward chapter. So we're glad to have you this morning, Nora.
Thank you.
I do have a question. So regarding the stages, because the stages are a critical part of your business. And so how many stages do you have currently, and how are you looking to grow that part of your business?
I have 13 stagers currently. I'm meeting with 2 more tomorrow who want to join. And I am not worried about stagers, to be perfectly frank, because I've had all of my stagers have been organically, they've come to me and asked to join. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was to run 10,000 projects a year out of 12 months, let's say that's 800 projects a month, I would need more stagers. I need to grow that to about 10 projects per stager per month. So I would need to grow to 80. I also have connections within the Real Estate Staging Association that if I need to start growing, I will start advertising to stagers. But I want to be able to build their traction first until we get going.
Mm-hmm. So about how many projects are you currently per month average?
Right now it's about 5 to 10. Now it was 2 months ago, 2 to 3. We are growing fast. Timing matters. And who knew that when the pandemic hit, we would be in the strongest seller market in recent history. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What that means for me is staging doesn't matter. It does matter. I take that back. It really does matter. And it means that you might sell your house for 25% over list instead of 10 if you stage. But there's been such a frenzy to just get on the market. The market is slowing. It's slowing quickly. And now that is why I'm actually getting more and more projects around this. On the other hand, too, realtor brokerages compete with each other for the best agents. And so my traction here, I'm building it, my customer acquisition through presentations at real estate offices, getting to the realtors directly, realtor conventions. I mean, the RE/MAX partnership is amazing, but I'm open to creating a partnership with your random Keller Williams office in Fort Worth.
Nice. It seems like this is a great opportunity for like stay-at-home moms or something like that to help with staging because of the flexibility. And then, it just gives them a chance for them to be their own boss as well as independent contractors. Okay,
that's absolutely true, because they see a project, they can decide whether to accept or decline. The deadline for them is 2 days. And they all know it. And I've never had a project come in late. So it's, they might look at it at the email coming through and say, hey, do I want this one? Well, no, my next 2 days are really busy. I'm not going to take it, which is fine.
Awesome. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful business model. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions or comments for Nora from our community?
And this is Tom. I'd like to just mark briefly. Number one, it looks great. I went online. I followed you on Facebook. I think it looks great. So really my question is, how else, aside from finding someone for a co-founder, what is your biggest challenge? What is something that potentially could help you out with? Because things look to be going great, actually.
It's getting realtors to engage. Only 31% of listing agents list homes. Stage homes. I liken it to when professional photography became a thing. Once upon a time, it really wasn't. The realtor could bring their disposable camera and take pictures, right? So now we're hitting that same point with staging. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. So I'm putting myself out there, and this is where a co-founder from a sales and marketing standpoint would come into play as well, is we need to educate our audience as well as sell them on it. You're seeing the brand new homepage today. I just moved it into production this morning. I have a few more changes to make, but yeah, I'm hitting up a full press announcement this week, social media, etc. So if you have realtor friends, I would love to chat with them.
Very good, thank you. Oh, one other thought I have is, you may be all over this, but I watch HGTV all the time. I would say reach out to them and say, hey, I will stage a home for free. Just tell them I'll stage one for you to get there. Because I think that would be great. They show in print sometimes, hey, this is the company that staged for us.
HGTV reached out to me. No, it was a show. It was a show on HGTV, reached out to me and asked for a $50,000 payment for an ad.
Interesting.
And I'm a startup, so that was a no.
Agree, but I'd say you go the other way back.
Yeah.
Go back to them and say,
Yeah,
I'll do it for free for you.
I need to get in there in the press. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah,
for Nora.
HGTV is hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Nora, are there any, I guess, platforms or software that'll help organize, like when this influx comes in, like how are you going to organize assigning staging assignments to people?
So from an occupied home staging, just the consult, that software is in place. It's already there.
Okay.
From a in-person integration, that's why I'm looking for basic funding right now, is to get it built.
Gotcha.
I know how I want it to work.
Mm-hmm.
I know we can build on what's there, but yes, I'm taking a bit of a risk by adding this integration, so to speak, from a manual basis to test the traction before I go for more funding.
Off the shelf, and sure, software development. What if you did use Zendesk or one of these other kind of project tracking things that already work, work ticket things, using an off the shelf solution?
I've looked at some of those. Actually, I was looking for online marketplace type things. What I'd like to be able to do, if you think about an in-person staging, let's say your house is vacant, I'd love them to use our current software to upload their pictures, assign them to rooms, send them out, send them to the stagers, and have the stagers put in a quote and a scheduled date, and have that go back to the seller to say, okay, I'm going to accept X quote, and I want to review the stager, etc. The online marketplace software does not do a quote system, is what's so frustrating. And that quote aspect is important because when people are selling, it's a big difference between $1,000 to $3,000. So I want them to be able to get that.
Because platforms or businesses like Angie's List or not TaskRabbit, but
Home Advisor.
Yeah, they don't allow the quotes to come through either. People have to be communicated through email. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but with the fact that I'm uploading pictures of the house and I have that built already, and I have the task assignment built already to my stagers, I think we can get to a quote system. If I'm busy, let's say your typical seller, right? I don't know if I'm typical. I have a kid, I have a business, my husband works, we have an exchange student in our house now. Like, don't come out to my house 4 times. If I can just take pictures and you can tell me this is how much it's going to cost for me to bring it in and the inventory is available next Wednesday, I'll do it.
Question. So when you think about the build and everything, it sounds like you know how to build it yourself, right? You probably just don't have the bandwidth to
correct
get it all done. If you're willing to teach how to build it to interns who already have the basic, some students who already have the basic knowledge or proficiencies in MySQL and all of those different things, you can teach them what to do and they can help you work on it.
Potentially, and maybe I need to look at the internship program further in general, because we do have, quite a few good universities that teach some of these skills. My concern with an internship type of thing is knowing how much I learned with my first programming job about a production system, how much testing you have to do, how you have a programming environment and then a staging environment, tech staging, not home staging, and then rolling it into production and making sure that we have the support. It's all of those. It's not the code so much, it's the rollout and implementation that I'm not sure our schools are teaching fully yet. And I might be wrong there. I'm open to being convinced otherwise.
Mm-hmm. It's possible that you can just plan it out in phases. And for the phase that you need the interns, you work with them. And then after you get to that, then you'll have the other phase where you need a different person to come into play, but at least maybe you can get some of it done with some help like that.
Well, and the nice thing is I own the source code. So I could pay my development company to spend some time with the whoever I get to walk them through how is the code organized as well. And that might be the right option. Plus, what I like about a potential intern is that they are more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and excited, and B, hopefully don't have mortgages and car payments and kids to worry about, so they can take a bit of a risk.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of students who are actually eager to work on projects such as these. Even with a small stipend, you could get students to work on such things such as these. So,
okay. I'm going to look into that further. I am, because I think maybe I've just had this impression and what's the word? Discounted it too quickly. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that my business also helps small business owners do. So if you want to reach out to me, ask questions about that.
Yes. Can I find you on LinkedIn and connect?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions or comments? And also remember, you can put in your community announcements or anything that you want to let us know about that's going on in the business world, any resources, any classes, courses, webinars, networking events, anything, let us know. But we have just a few minutes left before we go to Andrew. Any questions or comments?
I have a question, comments. Do you have any connections out in Oregon yet, Nora, for real estate agents?
I do not, but I have a stager in Oregon.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'll make sure to connect you. My cousin's a real estate agent. I know a few companies and people out there. So
awesome.
Love to connect you. And then on social media, I'm surprised you don't own Stagerie on Instagram. I tried looking it up and it wasn't popping up easily.
No, I didn't get it. I own Stagerie_com.
Oh,
I know, it's miserable, right?
Yeah. So
what's linked on my website, but you're right. I have run ads on Facebook. I have run Instagram and all of that too. Instagram, I'm having a hard time really capitalizing on Instagram and Facebook and actually getting clicks. So I've tried a few different social media people and haven't had success yet. I think there's something there. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah, I can definitely introduce you to a social media manager who's good at growing accounts and making postings as needed. But I definitely would recommend adjusting your account name. I mean, when I looked up Stagerie, it looked like it was available, but it wasn't available when you tried creating it.
Oh, let me check that. Okay. It wasn't when I tried creating it. Maybe it is now.
Yeah. And if anything, you can try Stagerie 1 or a Stagerie or the Stagerie, just because, when I tried typing in Stagerie on its own, it didn't pop up. So just so you know. But I definitely agree, Instagram and Facebook should definitely be your best options there. And then another 3 quick things. Can I give feedback on the presentation?
Please.
Can you go back to the beginning of it? Because as someone who's not in the real estate industry, I didn't know what staging meant. And so just having a quick slide just saying, hey, here's what Stagerie is. Here's a before example. Here's an after example. I don't think that was
add a
clarified.
Before and after. Perfect.
Yeah, so I recommend that. yeah, I would definitely recommend spending 30 minutes to an hour each day reaching out to real estate companies and offering to present there if you're not already doing that. So it sounds like you are. And then with HGTV, I mean, I watched the movie. What's the movie with Jennifer Lawrence where she like grows her company with selling the mop on that on the network?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it right
it's
now.
like Precious or Journey or Perfect or anyway. There's got to be a will. There's a way with HGTV. Maybe they would do a revenue share instead of having you pay them $50,000, or maybe there's something else that they could that you could offer them besides money to get on HGTV, because I'd recommend keep looking into ways for that. But yeah, overall sounds exciting.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's daunting.
I bet. Yes.
Well, Nora, one other thing, Nora, LeBeau also has a social media management company, so follow up with her on that as well. And she's written several books on social media, but yeah, follow up with her as well.
I've already sent the connection request.
Thank you, Angela.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you, Nora. You did an excellent job today.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the support from my state.
Yes, y'all.
No horns. Not after last week. That was not good.
But yeah, looking forward to connecting with you. Now it's time for Andrew to start his presentation. While he's pulling that up, I just want to say Tom Bassey says, or Basie, it may be Basie, yeah. Monday morning Medicare virtual Zoom presentation every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be starting next Monday through December 6th. And he put the Zoom link right there in the chat. Thank you, Tom, for that. Okay, Andrew, your 6 minutes begins when you begin speaking.
All right, and just quick clarification, is it 6 to 10 minutes, or are you cutting me off at 6 minutes just to make sure I stay on time?
We can do 10 minutes. It'll just mean your Q&A time will be a little bit shorter.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because my presentation is about 8 minutes, but I can cut it shorter as needed. Okay. I'll get my timer out. And hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Andrew Weiss, and today I'm going to be talking about the company Pod Fest and how to make sure that this organization is future-proof because of the value that we offer people. So just some quick background on me. I'm born and raised in Oregon. I'm left-handed. So for all those lefties out there representing 12% of the population, whoop, whoop. That is my family that I grew up with. Believe it or not, I'm actually 6 feet tall and I'm the runt of the family. So it definitely is unfortunate, not only being the runt, but being the oldest sibling, but at least I hopefully have the strongest entrepreneur drive, hence why I'm here today. And I was definitely that guy growing up who would sell chips at Resource. So always had the entrepreneur spirit and definitely excited. I also have experience traveling and speaking around Oregon, gave over 1,000 presentations in 3 years, teaching professional skills to Oregon's youth and teaching other people the entrepreneurial professional spirit as well. So I love helping and serving others and sharing knowledge. And with that said, because I love sharing knowledge, back in May 2020, I did my own event called Fight the Fluff because I was tired of attending presentations where people would talk without actually saying anything. And I'm sure we've all had that experience where they say, here's three ways to improve your email marketing list. And then they just talk about why it's important to improve your email marketing list without providing actionable, tangible advice. And so I put together an event called Fight the Fluff. And because that went well, I got connected to a guy named Chris Krimitsos, and together we broke a Guinness World Record back in August 2020 for world's largest virtual podcasting event. It was back when the pandemic had just hit. We knew that everyone was at home, still vying for connection, and we were able to bring over 5,000 plus people together, over 300 plus speakers to help teach people podcasting, video casting, online course creation, and basically give them the best content in the community aspect. And since doing that in August 2020, we've done 7 events together since. So just some quick background on PodFest itself. It began in 2013 with about 13 people, helping people in that world. We did 2 workshops in 2014, held a first event where it actually started to gain traction in 2015 with 100 people. In year 2, we started to grow larger with about 150 people. We even created a documentary called PodFest Messengers, where it talks about the whole podcasting industry. And remember, podcasting wasn't always cool. This is something that's grown for a period of time. And now that it's actually cool, since Joe Rogan, in case you haven't heard, got bought out by Spotify for $100 million, the podcasting industry is still just barely cracking the surface for how big it can grow and how exciting it can be for being a platform that people utilize. We grew even more in 2017. Here's our founder, Chris Krimitsos, just showing love for the 1 Million Cups community and always been a big fan. And so that's why I'm extra excited to be here today. Reached 500 people in 2018. And then, of course, as I mentioned, in August 2020, we had 5,000 plus people, 300 plus speakers, and broke that Guinness World Record. So as I mentioned at the beginning, one of the problems we're solving is in the events industry, people are sometimes seen as numbers versus seen as people and community members. Instead of saying, hey, welcome, we're so glad to see you here, how can we help you? It's more of, here's your badge, here's your ticket, there's where your seat is. And that's one of the best compliments we receive in PodFest, is that everyone feels like they're part of the community. They feel welcome. We don't care about your background, your experiences. If you're here to learn, if you're here to support others, that's what we love doing. And so, this is one of the founders of Castbox, giving a presentation on building community and just making sure that's the core of how we help serve people. And as I mentioned, we also make sure that the presentations are efficient, effective. They're about 30 minutes each. They're not too long, not too short. We ask that they usually provide slides to help show the points. We make sure the slides aren't full of too many words or pictures that are relevant. It's actionable, tangible advice. The speakers are not allowed to sell anything. They're just here to give amazing content that they usually charge thousands of dollars for, but they're able to happily serve people in this environment. And while they're not allowed to sell anything, they're able to offer free lead magnets and free workbooks, gifts, things like that as part of a thank you for attending the presentation as well. And this shows that we have been gaining momentum so far. People come to our events. We get comments like this all the time. People are so happy to be there, understanding how appreciative they are of treating them like how happy we are to have them part of the community in our Facebook group, attending the presentation. This is definitely one of the best comments we've received so far, is that a person actually took advice on what they had received at the event itself and was able to get a sponsorship for her podcast. So what's great is that, whether you have a podcast or don't have a podcast, we help take you from zero to monetization, essentially. And that's the beauty of it too, is bringing people from all skill levels, all walks of life to be able to teach something. And as far as our monetization model, most of our money actually comes in from sponsors. So while ticket sales are great, really the monetization does come from sponsors to help make ticket sales cheap and making sure that we have food to eat and able to feed our families as well. We're planning our first ever virtual hybrid event coming up in November. And we're definitely excited for that because, since the pandemic, we hosted a small in-person event on blockchain and cryptocurrency in June. And this will be our first ever time trying to combine virtual and in-person. So we're definitely excited for that. And fortunately, it is at the Amalie Arena. So if you know anyone in Florida or Tampa willing to fly out and check us out, that's where we'll be hosting the event. And that's the way that we want to make this organization community future-proof, is having a hybrid virtual model so that no matter how many pandemics there are, people can still tune in virtually around the world and still get amazing content, take action, and be able to better their lives. So what we need help with is raising awareness of these events. The best kind of compliment insult that we get is they wish they had heard about this organization community earlier. So we'd love any suggestions you have for raising awareness. And then also, as I mentioned, being able to find guest speakers who really are here to serve, want to give actual tangible content, who can help share their knowledge and expertise with people in the audience and community. So with that said, I know I was talking a million miles an hour, but hopefully everything was comprehensible, and I'd love to open up the floor to Q&A and from here.
So this is Tom. The first question I would ask, I like the presentation. I'm super excited about what you have going on here, but what is not clear to me perhaps is exactly your role within this. I think maybe you guys are conference organizers then. That is, you are both looking for people to have the content, do the podcast, and then you distribute it. So you're the organizer of a podcast conference. And so you might want to step me through that in 60 seconds again, your role as the organization.
Yes. So I'm the Chief Marketing and Operating Officer. Our visionary, Chris Komitsos, he's essentially the visionary founder of it. And we're essentially the middlemen. So yeah, we have all these expert speakers. We have these audience members who need to hear this knowledge. And we're the event organizers that bring everyone together to make sure that the people that once the student is there, the master is there to teach, essentially. Yeah.
And then the podcast you talked about, I wish I'd seen it sooner. Well, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, but I'm still a podcast novice. I don't do a lot. Once the conference occurs, then those individual people kind of distribute them. They put them on the different things themselves, or do you have a centralized place where someone can go back and hear your cryptocurrency conference 2021? Tell me a little bit about where the podcasts live.
Yes, so we do have a platform called SuperPass at the moment. I might be looking to transition to another software soon, but yeah, essentially people are able to access our recordings from our events on the platform called SuperPass. Another thing I want to show you guys too, you all, I should say, is we use a platform called Whova, which is the virtual side of things. And with this platform, you're able to visit exhibitor booths, you can interact in the community, you can attend virtual meetups, put together networking meetings. We have icebreakers, we have gamification involved. So that's just how we integrate the virtual side of things. But at the core, yeah, essentially, like you said, we're just the middlemen event organizers, bringing the best speakers to the audience who's ready to learn and implement, essentially.
Now, question, Andrew. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask, thank you so much. It's a great presentation. Thank you for sharing about your company and what you guys do. So I had a question regarding accessing past content. Do you guys sell that as part of a subscription model, or is it part of the ticket price that individuals pay to attend the event, that they also get access to previous recordings?
Yeah, so I'm going to bring up, so here's just what our ticket pricing looks like, just to show you how our hybrid model is going to work. Is we have in-person pricing, which will include recordings, and then we have two ticket prices for people who want recordings and people who don't want recordings. And then what's really cool is the company we're currently partnered with called SuperPass is they actually created an app for us on the App Store called PodFest. So if you go to iTunes right now and type in PodFest, it'll be one of the apps that pops up. And then I'll show you the website where people can get subscriptions to previous conferences. We have like a free section and then a section where people can purchase various passes as well. It's all organized in like a Netflix, Spotify format, so it's very easy to navigate.
Okay.
And it's definitely not a big part of our model. Maybe we could focus on driving more people there, but I know it's always tricky because we're in the age of people's attention span gets lost quickly. So it's kind of hard to convince them to go back 2 years for information that might still be relevant today, though. Yeah.
Andrew, have a podcaster here in town in Des Moines.
Oh, awesome.
Has a podcast From Local to Legend, helping business owners build local small business owners, right? Build their business and highlighting people who have done it. So send me an email and I will connect you to her.
Yeah, love that.
And she is outstanding and has written for, I think, Entrepreneur Inc. or something. And
yeah, if you can put your email in the chat, I'll definitely make sure to do that.
I'll do that right now.
Perfect. We have a few questions on this side. Will asks, who are your competitors and how do you differ from them?
Yes, great question. We definitely believe in the concept, collaborate over competition. But with that said, competition is a reality. So our main competitor is Podcast Movement, and they're definitely a bigger organization than us, bigger sponsors, bigger PR, things like that. And we differ in the sense that, the top complaint we hear about podcast movement is they still get treated like a number. Like there's no community collaboration aspect. It's just kind of welcome to the event. Here's where your seat is kind of thing. And we've also heard the speakers don't get treated as well. Sometimes the sponsors don't get treated as well. And that's a big mistake that we know is made in the events industry, is that companies and events will take a sponsor's money, say thank you, and then not actually push people to interact with them. But we make that a very crucial part of our events, because we wouldn't be able to create these events without sponsor money. Is just saying, hey, go to the sponsors, get your free prizes. Thank you again to our sponsor for making this event a reality. So I'd say, the way we prefer is having a more personal approach to our attendees and making sure our speakers, we give training to our speakers leading up to the event, whether they're brand new or expert speakers. And then we also make sure to really push people towards our sponsors as well.
Awesome.
That's good to hear.
Okay. And if I was talking to a podcaster, give me an elevator pitch that would sum up and really excite them about attending or being a podcaster for this event.
Yeah, so I would ask where they are in their journey. So if it's a brand new podcaster, I would say, what we have speakers will teach you about the right tech to use, how to grow your audience, how to monetize your podcast. If it's a podcaster who has already been going, we'll teach them how to scale with paid ads or how to quickly grow their community so they can get even more sponsors. If it's a podcaster that hasn't started yet, I'll say we'll bring in speakers to help take you from zero to launch, where how do you actually upload a podcast to a media host? How do you get your first 10 episodes uploaded? How do you spread awareness of your podcast? So I would first ask who the person is, and then be able to say, here are the speakers that is going to touch on these subjects to make sure you're as successful as possible in the podcasting space.
Awesome. And your attendees, can you describe the demographic of your attendees and what the experience is when they come to one of your events? What's the typical experience to expect?
Yes. So demographic, I'd say it's slightly on the older side. So, sorry, I'm going to use the word older, but I'll say 40s or 50s, because I know 40s and 50s.
Mature.
20 or 30s, mature, yes. Yes, mature. And then I'd say a majority of our podcasters are definitely more on the beginning side, or ones who haven't started yet. But even though the podcasting industry has been around coming up on, I think, 12 to 15 plus years, there's still a lot of the beginners. And I know during the pandemic, I believe it was something like, I'm going to be way off on these numbers, but just to give you an example of the ratio that's happened, like let's say there was 100 million podcasts pre-pandemic, just in 2020 alone, that ended up being 200 million podcasts. So the industry is still very rapidly growing. And I'd say we still have a lot of beginners who've either just started or haven't started yet versus more experienced and novice podcasters.
So Andrew, I have a question.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
the second part of the question was, what's their experience when they come there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so the experience, So we still have a complete range of people who either haven't started a podcast or people who already have a podcast and they want to monetize it or develop it or figure out how to make it better. So we still have that really complete range. And some of our speakers, I don't know if you've heard of the podcast Entrepreneurs on Fire with John Lee Dumas. I mean, because of his podcast, he actually posts, it's pretty cool. Actually, he posts on his website how much money he's making per month in his company. And I think the last few months, he's still making about $200,000 per month just through various, courses, journals, workbooks, and of course, sponsors for his podcast. But we also bring in brand new speakers too. That's another great thing about our event, is that we don't necessarily care if you have too much speaking experience, but if you have an expert topic that you want to bring to help people, like one of our speakers, he helps people sell wreaths and makes 5 figures a month selling wreaths. We help teach people how to start a niche market audience and then be able to monetize that.
Okay. Go ahead, Angela. Sorry.
So just to piggyback on the both questions. So it sounds like you have 3 different parts of your business that you need help or basically are promoting or driving revenue. So you have promoting the events, the virtual/hybrid events. Then you have getting sponsorships, but then you also have, have people who are in different stages of podcasting. So is there a fee or anything for people who have podcasts or want to start podcasts to be a part of your organization and be a speaker?
No, we don't charge our speakers, and we don't pay speakers. The compensation we give speakers is discounted tickets at the moment.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So it sounds like you could possibly have 3 different messages depending on who you're speaking to. And so my advice to you would be, how do you promote your conferences now? Do you just use LinkedIn, social media? That's basically what you're doing now.
Yeah, so we have about 5,000 people in our Facebook group. We have an email list of about 20,000 active emails. We have some great partnership connections with Buzzsprout, Podbean, Libsyn, to do promotions with them. So they're some of the top podcasting hosts out there. And being the chief marketer, it's my role to keep finding more events, more podcasts, more websites where we can promote on. So I'm still figuring that out. But that's what our main exposures come from. And then, we also have a pay it forward model too, where people who can't afford tickets, for the people who can't afford tickets, they are able to give them tickets essentially. And then also, we also use Facebook ads to help promote as well. But I don't think, based on what I've seen, the Facebook ads haven't been working very well. I think it'd be more effective to, find influencers or in the 1 Million Cups meeting this morning, they mentioned doing podcast ads, which I think would be good looking into as well. So any new methods of promotion I'm always looking for.
I have a potential influencer community too for you, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like you have, a couple of different avenues to go, but because your messages could potentially shift depending on who you're speaking to. So I would look to, carve out your messaging to those different audience and figure out which method or which tactic works best for that audience. You see what I'm saying? So you could potentially do you have maybe, you already have videos and recordings from past events. So let's say you take some of the events that were during the pandemic, create snippets of those events, post them on LinkedIn, also social media, Facebook and Instagram, so that you have 30 seconds of some of the key highlights or some of your biggest speakers or the ones that you got really, a lot of the good, feedback on. Repurpose that content and use that as messaging. So, hey, for your podcasters, hey, you can be here. We welcome you to be a speaker. We're looking for speakers. Hey, this could be you on stage. And then promote it to potential sponsors. Hey, we're seeking sponsors for our next upcoming events. So you have an opportunity to repurpose that content to the different subsegments of your audience so that you can bring more awareness, because you're not just bringing more awareness to your brand, but you're bringing more awareness about what your brand offers to these different types of subsegments. So look at segmenting your email database too. So right now you have 20,000 people. How many of those people are business owners? How many of those people are actually podcasts? How many of those people are actually people who you're looking to sponsor? The key part about segmentation is key part about email lists is about segmentating that list and nurturing and building them and continuing to add value to those particular audiences. So if you haven't done so already, I would urge you to figure out how to segment your list, your email list.
And that's absolutely right. And to close, before we just close out, I wanted to say, you might also want to join your local AAF, what is it? The Advertising Association Federation. I forgot what it's called. I just now got acquainted with it. I'm going to join, but the local AAF, there's one in every major city, I believe. Then you can start building those connections with other marketers and looking into how some of their clients might need your services. And what else? What I was going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to get with you though, Andrew, because I'm really interested in PodFest. So I'm going to reach out to you and ask you a couple more questions. But for time's sake, I just want to end with, well, first of all, thank you, Andrew. That was a great presentation. Awesome job. I think that PodFest will blow up, and I think it's serving a great need. But before we go, do we have any wins this week? Any wins? I'll kick it off by saying my daughter, Aimee Therese over here, she got her DBA yesterday. She got her DBA.
Wow.
So
congratulations.
Called Clover & Co. And so don't ask what it is because it's a lot of things. But basically, I'm the mom I'm not going to let her just go out here and do things and not be aware of taxes and all of that stuff and not get all the benefits of having an official business. So stop all the side hustling and let's make it into a real business so you can get all the benefits. But so I'm proud of her. Anybody else have any wins this week, wins of the week they'd like to share?
Are presenters allowed to give one too?
Yes.
We, on a whim, applied to host an international student 2 weeks ago because her current host mom had to have emergency surgery. So now I have a bonus daughter. She's 17. She is interested in robotics, tech, calculus, physics from Tajikistan, and is going to change the world. And I'm just so honored to be able to have the front seat to that. She wants to use robotics and comp sci to fix climate change.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Audience and
she's in school today. We got her enrolled and started yesterday. So I put her on the bus. I got to walk to the bus. Yay.
Pack a lunch. Wonderful. Wonderful. That is great.
Yes. All right. If that's all, thank you guys for joining. We had great presenters today. Remember that this recording is available on our page and we will be uploading to YouTube as well. You guys have a great day. Looking forward to connecting with Nora and Andrew. You guys have a great week. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.